Right by. We back at you again. Y'all, Faise. Green light in the building. Let's roll that intro while we give them time to get in here. And the ancestors are looking out for us.
Todd Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Shalom alaikum. Peace.
Young
Be unto you.
TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, Rabbi, as always, we got Faise in the dressing room right now, getting ready to come out. So share, like, subscribe. Share it on your Facebook, your Instagram. Let them know we live, man. We about to be live with Faise, man. We about to crack heads for another one. As DJ Cali say, another one. If you're just not tuning in, keep in mind we got the playlist. Well, we got the Ascension Manual playlist. We got the School of Masonry playlist, the Galactic Family of Life playlist, the Ancient Chemic playlist. We got the alchemical playlist for the alchemy guys. So we got a lot of stuff already out. We got 1,000 videos right now, man. So if you're just not tuning in, you got a long way to go to catch up. And we still got 100 and some more tapes just on religious information to put out before we go through the School of the Thought rules. Then we'll go more into the Ascension classes if you're just not tuning in. Now, keep in mind, this is the return of the 9 gods. Shout out Sunrise, the builder. Sunrise, one of the 9 gods. This is the return of the 9 gods, right? So the 9 gods dropping all the new information. They bringing it to the the Nathar rules, the return of the Nathar rules. Hitting the planet, the green beams, the green lights, the green vibration. Shout out all 4 piece. The green vibration, the green light energy is taking over the globe right now. It's the green light movement. Now, get your questions together. We're gonna be talking about the science of the occult. And they don't like this tape because they already flagged it before we even started talking. So they must don't like people talking about the occult. But we're gonna keep it clean as always. No profane. Notice they say profane. They say profanity, right? We call it profane language, right? So hey, get them in here, man. Let them know Faise finna be in the building. Let the ladies know Faise finna be in the building. Get him in backstage, man. We got Faise backstage right now. We warm it up. We need 200 people, man. Yeah, so if you're just not tuning in, you see what's going on, man, on the land. The occult busters, right? different things going on. We see the Hebrews and Pastor Gino going at it, right? I like Pastor Gino. I like Pastor Gino. He one of them ones that's making a change in the. He's still doing the same thing, but he iterating a little bit of the right knowledge into his teachings. You know what I'm saying? So the Hebrews they surrounded Pastor Gino Church, right? Hebrews going out to everybody to stone him, man. We love our Hebrew brothers though. He says, hey, yeah. He said, who do you say as a Muslim do we pray? Hell yeah. As a Muslim, we pray our ass off. Muslim pray their ass off. We most praying religion on the planet. It's in the religion Islam, we the most praying people on the planet. We pray 5 times a day. Who else is doing it? Who else is doing it? You know what I'm saying? In Islam, non-stop action, setting up them prayers. I think your question was, who are you praying to? Right? Well, we would hope you praying to the ultimate source of the universe. And through that, the universe, keep in mind the universe answers prayers. Tell me. Don't believe me. Check it out. And all you who did, you know that I tell the truth, that I speak the truth. Tell me. Universe answer prayers for the righteous, for people who on the right side. If you're doing right, and negative energy come your way, like we just explained on the last tape, it's only a test. It's only a test. And we divine love. Get that fear up off your chest. Don't fear when you get a test. David had the same thing when he went in Psalms 22. When he says, late yea do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That was a test. I shall fear no evil, for God is with me. So that's a test. But he knew through that test that it was only a test that he's gonna make it out. All he got to do is don't panic. The main thing is, like Toady used to always tell us, when we in high-powered alchemical mode, the main thing is, in an alchemical situation, never panic. When people in the water and you jump out there to save them and they drowning, if they panic, he go Faise right here. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it to the stage. Faise One.
Yo.
Hey, we back at it again. We lit. You come on just right on time because you get people time to get in here. You come right on time. Hey man, we got him in here now because you was going in. We was going on occult science. Like you kind of like went over a lot of this in the last series of tapes, but we kind of like wanted to do one just on talking about the occult because I got a lot of questions. People was asking why all these different occults? Why just not one occult? What is the purpose of all this order, that order? Are they working together? Are they one conglomerate? I got 1,000 questions on the occult. So I was like, I'm gonna bring Faise back on, and then he can go in just on the occult. So the first question, before I make this announcement before we go in. Hey y'all that's tuning in, let me show you this flyer. Faise got 10 books that he got out, right? Let me show you this flyer real quick. It ain't gonna take but a second. For y'all just tuning in, for all y'all new guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Right? Okay, let me blow it up. Okay, there you go right there. Yeah, and so Faise got 10 books, right, that he wrote and authorized, right? Now, if you want to get those books, what you would do is you would cash app him at Play for Change. This is cash app, Play for Change, right? I'm going to show you that right there. We're going to pull it up. And you would leave your emails in the little link box when you send over the Cash App. You can, so he'll know that you want the books, right? For you guys to just coming on. So you got 10 books. Now he take any amount of Cash App, but you're gonna get 10 books. So show him some love, right? So we just wanted to make that quick announcement before we go in, because we know you guys don't like to watch the whole 2-hour video, but you watched the beginning, right? Like, so let me start there.
I appreciate y'all.
Now, okay. Now, and if you want to show Faise some love too, also you just want to show him some love. You already got the books, just send them over the Cash App, right? We're gonna have that posted too. We got that already posted in the pins, but we're gonna be posting on the screen for you guys that be asking what's the Cash App. So we got that. Yeah, this is the first question that we got for you, Faise. Why all the different occults? You got Rosicrucian, you got, the Illuminati, the Masons, the Three Council of 300, the Bilderbergs. Why all these different societies, and do they work as a conglomerate? Go ahead. I'm gonna move.
That's a good question. It's the same reason why you would ask why there's so many different restaurants, why there's so many different fast food restaurants, why there's so many different stores, why do you have Walmart, Kroger's, you know what I'm saying, Ingles, Publix, why do you have McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's? What you have to remember is no matter how esoteric somebody claims to be, they still have to carry out their obligations. You know what I'm saying? They still have to do, at the end of the day, they're obligated to do certain things, right? Or I'm saying vocations also, or what you're going to do, your daily tasks, you still have to carry those out. You understand? So your obligations or your applications or vocations, you're going to have to do every day anyway. So regardless of what order you're a part of, there are still tasks you have to carry out. And ultimately, people are making money off of it. You know, you got people who will, join the lodges. The lodges ask for you to pay certain dues, or they got shirts and T-shirts that they pass out, and they collect money for those. And somebody might make a movie and selling the esoterics through the movies, or they might put it up on the YouTube channel, whatever. It's still money. It's still business, even though the works don't have to do anything with money. They don't have anything to do with money. The actual works, which is servitude, okay, it's still for service. People are asking for money in exchange. So when you have different restaurants, different brands and logos of all these different things that do the same exact thing, they could have easily just made one car, but somebody wants to make their car exactly how they visualize that a car should look, how a car should drive, how a car should feel or perform, you know what I'm saying, or appear. These makes and these models are based on whatever the vision of that particular person was. And it's the same thing with the occult. Because like I said prior, when you touch that light, something happens for you that won't happen for the next man or woman. You understand? So you have to take into consideration that even if you are a first degree, second or third degree Mason, into the Princess, a fellow craft, or a master Mason, or an Eminem, or an eminent being, when you go up that flight of stairs and you finally figure out what the works is about, all right, and you know how to use your hands at that point, and you master faith, hope, and charity, you're still going to do different works than the next man. You understand? So the reason for all these different orders is multiple different types of people have had multiple different types of approaches to this, what you call esoteric or occult, or some people may refer to it as arcane information, or secret or sacred information. And they have multiple different reasons for using that information, all right, which in truth, they're using darkness, which a lot of people think is the light, but it's darkness because the dark means you don't know what they're doing, okay? If it was all light, everybody would understand Illuminati. Everybody would understand how to speak elite or elitish, which is a language that I told people to look out for, okay, which I coined the term elitish because it's a literal language. So it's so many different approaches to that particular darkness or to that particular light, okay, that it's not just one group of people saying this is how it's going to be. And even if you have people a part of the same group or same organization, all right, or a part of the same lodge or a part of the same brotherhood or fraternity or sorority, whatever, there are still different people within those brotherhoods, fraternities, sisterhoods, sororities that feel different ways about the information or the keys or the marks or the tokens or the signs or the gems or the torches that they're being given or the degrees that they're being given. So the purpose for all these different organizations is somebody touched that light and said, I'm going to go this way. Somebody touched that light and said, I'm going to go that way. Somebody touched that light and said, I'm going to build this. Somebody touched that light and said, I'm going to destroy this. You understand? So it's like when you had the war between the Atlanteans and the Lemurians. Okay, some group was saying, yo, these human beings or these inhabitants of the material plane don't have the light that we have. They don't have the information or the sciences that we have. So how about we subdue them? Okay, how about we have them come up under us? They'll worship us and they'll serve us. And then another side was saying, no, we should allow for these people to evolve and figure out the light the same we figured out the light. And that's where you had that thermonuclear war that took place some 12,500 years ago that destroyed both Lemuria and Atlantis, okay, before the Lemurians had to go and vacate or be evacuated through the portal Mount Shasta, which they were allowed to seek refuge in the 5 civilizations beneath it, which was a whole different conversation. But they fought over who was going to rule the people who didn't know. Are you with me? So any of the elite, all right, who have their children because they want to survive too, so they have their bloodlines and their families and their offsprings, any of the elite, all right, who bring forth their seed, have in their mind that they're going to pass on all their sacreds to their seed. Okay, they're going to make sure not only are those sacreds passed on to their seed, if they have brothers or sisters who are part of those same organizations, they're going to make sure those brothers and those sisters pass on the light to their seed. So they're going to all go to the same private schools. They're going to all attend the same churches. They're going to all be a part of the same organizations. And even if they're not a part of the same organizations, they're going to do the same works to make sure that when there's time for what's called a successor, there will be many people to be considered for that succession, meaning somebody has to step forth and take the seat of whoever the master was prior. Are you with me? So they're not just thinking in terms of now with the light and the information and the orders. They're thinking in terms of thousands of years from now, the same way your ancestors were thinking in terms of thousands of years before this point. And the way that it had to grow was if they kept it set in stone for one particular group of people for one particular way, then all of these different variations of melanin, the way that you're experiencing the realm, if you're a melanin dominant person, you're experiencing this realm different than or differently than a melanin recessive person would. You understand? So the way that you take on information will be different than the next person's taking on. And different genes depict different ways and portray different ways that the light will be shined through and the light will be received. So for all these different people who walk through these different orders, they receive the light in different ways. Okay, so that's why they allow for that sword to be set in place, which is that sacred word, that S word, or that double-edged sword, saying, I'll use this a particular way, okay, but you may use it another way. Just make sure we remember what the sword is used for. You understand? Which is to cut or to do a work. Are you with me? Not everybody will understand the science of the sword, which is why you go and read up on King Arthur's story where he had to take the sword out of the stone and only he could do it. Meaning you had to have the password to remove that. Are you with me? And that's the sacred word. So the point is, all of these different orders were set up to keep that light on through their lineage, okay? So that they can pass it on in however way they needed to pass it on. And because they took into consideration that all these different people from all these different walks of life may take away from it a different vantage point, okay, or a different gem than the other people who were taken away from that light or pulling from that light, they made it be that it was able to break up and be divvied up. But that's how light is anyway. Light doesn't just hit a surface. Light hits a surface and reflects and refracts, okay? Light operates differently in water than it does out of water, okay, or through the air. Whichever medium light is traveling through, that will determine how that light is being experienced by the observer. You understand? So you have elders who may be delivering the same science I'm delivering, okay? Then some people might call me and yourself a young elder. Are you with me? Well, we're young, as some people may say, but we're still able to deliver that information as an elder would. And then you have some who will be young and they don't deliver the information as an elder would, but they needed to reach whoever the youth was, and the elder may not have been able to reach the youth. Okay, depending on whoever that medium is or whatever that medium is, that light will appear differently to whoever that observer is in that time period. So it was necessary that people remember what the basis was, which is light and dark, okay, because that science is replicable, okay, and you can pick up on the allegorical or the esoteric gems or nuggets when it pertains to what light is and how it functions and what darkness is and how it functions. Okay, so you have all these different orders that took into consideration darkness and light. Does that make sense? That's the reason why, just to be clear, I came in here with a ski mask on, because we're speaking about the occult. So the first thing you see when you come into here is what? Me hidden. My face is hidden. This is the occult right in front of you. This is the occult as an action, hiding myself, hiding my identity. If you didn't know who I was, and there was no name, and I didn't have on these trademark shades, these $400,000 shades. I was playing. If I have on whatever it was that allowed for you to know, you wouldn't know. You understand? So for the people who needed to know, you still had to be told some type of way. Okay? But what if I just appeared on somebody's platform and nobody knew who I was and I had on this ski mask? Then I would have been what? Practicing the occult in real time. Are you with me? So to answer the question, the purpose was to remind people how light takes its form in many different forms. Light isn't just set in stone. You think light is one way, try shining a light through a glass of water, okay, and put a straw into the water and observe it from the side, and you will see that what you're looking at from the straw not being submerged in water versus the straw being submerged in water, it's two different images. It's the same straw. It gives you the optical illusion that the straw is bending. Are you with me? So it's just important to remember that we're speaking about light here, and light, when it comes to the esoteric or the arcane or the supernatural, is always referring to information, okay? And one way to remember that, so you can see it scientifically, is you go out and get a green shirt or any color shirt, a blue shirt, observe it in the light, okay? Observe it out in the sunlight, and then wait until the shadow hour and observe that same shirt, okay, under the moonlight. And what you'll see is, if you were being truthful to yourself, you're looking at two different colors, okay? But are you really seeing two different colors? Did the chemicals in the shirt change? Did the molecular structure of the shirt change? Did anything about the shirt change? No, okay? What happened was your realm shifts. Every time there's a different degree of light, okay, your realm shifts. And every time there's a different vantage point that you take, whether it be an angle of depression, okay, where you're looking down, or an angle of elevation, which is referred to as your line of sight, okay? Whatever point you take, the realm will appear differently. And it's the same way with light, okay? So don't forget it. You can observe light operating in this realm in different ways, and it interacts with what you refer to as reality in different ways, depending on the degree or the angle or the point from which that light is streaming forth. When you get into the sciences of the Kabbalah, where they speak about the mystics, okay, what's mystic? The mystics saying something is mystical, or appearing to be magical or elusive, but it was all about light. And they spoke about a divine light. And a lot of times people thought that divine light was only referring to the information, but then the deeper you look into it, you'll find out that a lot of times they were speaking about something being emitted, okay, an emission. So you had to know what the source was. So if you get a light bulb, that's the source, okay? And you turn on that light bulb, and everything that you can see from that light bulb being turned on is the reality that that source brought. You take that source out, you may still be able to see if there's another light source streaming from outside your room or wherever, okay? But the only reality that you would have been able to behold was the reality that that light bulb gave you, or that source of light coming from outside of your room gave you. This is what's referred to as visible light. Other than that, you have to rely on, or not rely on, read truth on, because people need to stop relying, because they've been lied to too many times. They keep letting people lie to them. Okay? You will read truth upon whatever the science was or the world was that was being reflected without your visual senses. So you have to touch, okay, feel, maybe taste or hear, okay, which goes into another thing when you get to center stage and all this other stuff that they say are further developments of the human senses that allow for you to experience this reality and pick up on information like the color of a thing, or the, you know what I'm saying, the tone that's vibrating off of a thing without having to hear it or see it. Are you with me? You could just touch something and say it's blue. Okay, so all of these orders were to make sure that the light was able to take on many different forms allegorically, okay, because light takes on many different forms literally.
Right.
Are you with me? It's all about the information. That's
right, man. Look, Faise, you said a lot of, like, you on a whole nother level, man, because like just from where you talking from about it's starting with light, with the occult, because all I'm talking about having some kind of light, illumination of some kind of, and they can be referring to knowledge, not some kind of secret knowledge that they had. Now my next question, because somebody had this question in the chat, and we got you, the guy that actually says, he might be a guy that's in religion, but we accommodate everybody. The guy asked, he said, was Jesus in an occult? Was Jesus in an occult?
Absolutely. What was the light that was in the world and nobody knew who it was or what it was? What was that? And what is the true light, the light of every man that cometh into the world when you refer to the book of John, chapter 1, verse 9? All right. The true light, the light of every man that cometh into the world. Okay. Everybody has whatever this light is. And Jesus was coming forth, Isa or Yeshua was coming forth, bringing that light to the world. Okay. He was able to put people on to the information. He took people through the Rosicrucian order. He took people through the Masonic order. If you know, you know. If not, then we'll get into it. Okay. When he was taking people as disciples. All right. If you know anything about the Rosicrucian order, you start off as a disciple. Okay. The disciplinary or discipline degrees allows for you to take up your cross. Stay with me. Carry it. All right. And then you become like that Jesus or that Gases or ascended master. Okay. Who also had to go from the darkness into the light, which you'll find more about that. We'll break that down. So, of course, Jesus was a part of the orders of the occult. You saw that he would mention to the masses a certain science. And then he would go off by himself amongst the other disciples who had the discipline, okay, who understood the sacred words. And he would explain to them something that he didn't explain to the masses. Okay, you can refer to the book of Mark, chapter 9, and read it, where at first they showed you an extraterrestrial encounter. Okay, where they explained that there was a cloud that came forth. And that cloud had a voice that came out of it and was speaking of, this is my son. Listen to him. Make sure you're hearing what he's saying. Okay, we know there's no way that a physical being would have been standing on a cloud. That was just another way for them to say a craft. Are you with me? And they were walking and talking with him about the situation. He said, don't tell anybody about what you saw here today. Okay? But there was going to come a time, and he spoke about him having to rise up out of the depth again. And they said that they went on to speak about what it meant. But in the book of Mark, in that chapter 9, they don't tell you what it meant. Are you with me? But they said that they went on amongst themselves to speak about what it meant for Jesus to rise up, for the Son of Man to fall or die and have to rise up again. Go read it and you'll see it. But they didn't tell you what was being said in private. Are you with me? So there were times where there were private conversations being documented that he only had amongst those initiates. Okay? And then there were other times where he would speak to the masses and tell them certain things. But that's when you get into the science of parables. Are you with me? When you get into the Quran science that I broke down, where he said what? For everything we have created for you pairs, that you might receive instructions. Okay? For everything we created for you pairs, that you might receive instructions. It's very important because a pair, parable, okay, is a word or a token or a sign or a passage or a key that has multiple meanings, okay? But you're able to take one meaning and the other meaning and pair it together, okay? So if a light lights up a room and people can see, and a light lights up a room and people can see, whichever one of those you are referring to is still valid and relevant to whatever the situation would be. Are you with me? Which is why nobody can tell you that this is the day and time where we need darkness, because we need people to see. We don't need concealment. We need revealing. We need people to be able to see what's going on. And not just any light, to go into more of what the brother is asking, we need the true light, not the false light. So if they told you in the book of John, chapter 1, verse 9, that there was a true light, then there must have been some type of false light. And that's what you refer to as Lucifer. And you want to know how I can tell you to break that code? You go to Luke chapter 10, verse what? 18. And you will find, I beheld Shaitan. Some translations, they give you Lucifer. As lightning fall from the heavens. Are you with me? And then you go from John chapter 1, 9, and you'll find the true light. Lucifer, Shaitan meant to oppose or go against. Okay? And you know that Shaitan was the god of the world, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. All right, and he was the one who caused everybody to be blinded and confused. But he was the god of the world. Some translations will give you age. All right, if he was the one who brought deception to the whole world, in Revelation chapter 12, you'll find that. Okay, then there was somebody else who brought truth to the world. And whatever information they were bringing, that was the light. So if somebody is lying to you, that doesn't mean they don't know the truth. Are you with me? So Lucifer also held the true light. He knew the true light. He beheld the true light. He was right there in the heaven before he was cast down when he said, I beheld Lucifer. Lucifer, how did you fall? How did you lose your place in the hierarchy or in the heavens up there with all of the rest of the elite? Why did they cast you out? You with me? In order for them to behold that fall, he had to have been a part of the heavenly host at one point in time. So he was there, if you read the book, the Quran, where they were saying that there was a conversation between Allah Ta'ala or Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and Iblis. And Iblis would have been the shaitan of that story. And he had to cast him down. He said, you are of the lowly, not of the highly. Okay? And the lowly is the world of deception. That's what they're speaking of. And he said, since you have caused me to be in error, I'm going to make everybody that claims to be with you, I'm going to make them walk away from you also. And I'm going to make them fall low, like we spoke about before, and they're going to be led into disobedience. Are you with me? So when you have Lucifer bringing forth the light, he could tell the truth, or he could tell a fallacy or a lie, or he could deceive. What he chose to do, which is what all of you have the same choice, he chose to be a liar. Okay? He chose to deceive. And all the people who came after him, John chapter 8:44, right? All of his seed, or the serpent's seed, were liars or deceivers. Okay? Those who disagreed about disagreeables, or ra'ah. All right? They had the information. Even when you say ra'ah, you're still saying ruh or ru'ah, saying that there's still a spirit or knowledge, as you say, RH. Okay? Don't ever forget that. It's a very important key. That knowledge is RH in ancient Kemet, ruh, which still gives you soul if you're speaking in Arabic. Okay? Ruh, a soul. Knowledge and information. The ra'ah, the disagreeable, still have it. They still have technology. They still have all of the keys that the righteous ones, as you call them, have, or the agreeable ones have. Okay? So, of course, Jesus was a part of the occult. He was raised up in Kemet, where the occult practices were first being taught. All right? And you may have to look deeper into what I'm saying, but you will find that you're referring to the mirror occults, which I broke down before for people, that when you say mirror, you're saying a pyramid. Okay? And occult is the word occult, phonetically. It's right there in the word. That's a key. Okay? I cracked that for people. Mirror, the light, or the pyramid, occult, which is hidden. So when you say miracle, you're saying hidden light or hidden information. All right? So when he was performing the miracles, okay, he said, all of you who believe on me will be able to do these works and greater. What's the key word he used? Works. This is an occult term. Okay? When you speak of the opus or the work, the magnum opus is the great work or the grand work. Okay, or Magnus. Think of Magnus to help you remind yourself about it. You say magnificent, okay, or macro. The macro or the magnificent work. So when we say works, we're speaking about literally magic. If somebody say, they put some work on me, that's magic. If they say, the works of your father you will do, they're saying, you're going to carry out literally the same works. You're going to do the task of the opposers or shaitan. Okay, so then those of you who believe on him, or who were believing on God, okay, or knowing, where you get into the actual tones, you're saying the knowing or the alim or the hakim, okay, those who know or been exposed to the true light, where you have the truth now, they say you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free, all right? Those of you who know the truth, you're going to do the works of the Most High, all right? But still, even those who know become kafirs, all right? And they choose not to do the word of the or the will or the works of the Most High. All right, when you say kafir the disbelievers or the non-believers, saying that not that they weren't exposed to the light, they chose not to do what they could have done. So you get into the conversation of whether or not Jesus was bringing forth the true light, and whether or not Shaitan was bringing forth the false light. And that's when you get into what is this key word that we even breaking down. What was Jesus referred to as? The Son of God. And some people might have said the son of the morning, or the morning sun, or the morning star. Well, it's the same way you're saying Lucifer. This is where you get into the confusing conversation that people are having. They're saying Jesus is Lucifer. No, Jesus is not Lucifer. Learn the language first. Jesus, Isis, or Yeshu will say salvation. Okay, you'll find it in the book of Psalms. Salvation, all right? To do a job, to save somebody. In the book of Matthew, they told you why he was supposed to be named that, because he was supposed to come and rescue a people, okay? So they're telling you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. If you're rescuing somebody or saving somebody from slavery, or being prisoners of war, or being captives, or being sleep, okay, bringing somebody from the sleep into the awakened state, all right, then that means that you are taking them out of the Hebrew word ibed, okay, which is your bed. But if you look up the Hebrew word bed, or ebed, or bd, literally, you will find that it means what? A servant or a slave. So those are the people who were asleep. They were slaves or prisoners or captives to and of the demons of this world, or the guides or gods of this world, which of that world at that time was the world of darkness. And anybody who brought forth the light, okay, to bring people out of the darkness was walking in the order of Melchizedek, which was to say what? Righteousness or justice, saying it's unjust to keep somebody in the dark. It is righteous to bring them to the light, which is why they gave you the key term or phrase, sun, and then they had of righteousness. The sun, S-U-N, of righteousness, which is the sun bringing light forth. All right, not the moon or the lesser light. Would you say the moon? You're saying Yamaya. Okay, for all of those who practice or study the Ifa, okay, you'll say Yamaya, but you say Ya, you're saying O, and Maya is to say illusion in Sanskrit. Okay, so there was an illusion of light or a lesser light, the Yamaya world, the crescent world, the Hillel world, or the dark or concealed world, or the demiurge world, or the Sophia world, or the Baphomet world. And then you had the what? The sunlight or Ra, okay, or Atum Ra, or Reatum, okay, or Yahaya, or Yahayu, or Yahweh, which is to say the light world or the life world, where people are not asleep or dead. Okay, so Jesus was one of the ones walking in the order, and they told you that Jesus was raised up in the order of Melchizedek or Melchizedek. Are you with me? So that means that his job was to go through and learn them same occult or hidden sciences that not everybody knew and understood about. He studied in Egypt, which is very important because that's where he figured out the science of the miracles or the hidden light, okay, which is also the pyramid, which is why you see the depictions of Jesus holding, right, the fire in the center and pointing upward and diagonally toward the pineal, which is the crown that activates after that horizon crown, all right, is activated, or that glow, as you call it, coron, is activated, okay? And then you have an inner glow that allows for you what? To call your brother son, like they showed you in Boondocks, okay? And they spoke about this in the Quran like we spoke of the other time. Where there's a sun outside of you, and there's a sun inside of you, and he was pointing to that sun inside of you, which is in the center of the body, okay, which is the heart, or the central, okay, the central fire of the new heaven and the new earth, which is why a lot of people think that the cross could have held up a man, okay, by sticking out of the ground, but that's impossible. In order for him to have carried that cross would have had to be much larger than what they showed you, okay? So when you look up the word cross and find it in Greek, you'll find staros, saying a suspension device. This is what they said he was supposed to have been crucified on, which means that the true cross would have been, this is the ground, stay with me, this right here is the ground, this is the cross, and the bottom would have been the pail that they used to actually allow for him to be held up on that weight, okay? So you think the cross to be the mystic towel or the T, it's not, okay? That became allegorical. The only cross that could have held somebody up was a cross or a pail that would have been strong enough and firm enough in its foundation to hold up a man. Are you with me? So that cross becomes a plus sign, not the cross that sticks toward the top to look like a T. Okay, it would have been more so a plus sign. Why is that important? Because when you look from the eagle eye view of a pyramid, you will find what? A cross or a plus sign. Okay, from the eagle eye view of a pyramid, you will find a plus sign. And the capstone that glows, that appears to be on the top of the pyramid, all right, if you were to look from the eagle eye view, you will see 4 corners. Are you with me? You will see a cross, and you will also see that the capstone is in the center at that point. And that capstone is what glows. So he was informing you about the pyramid, which you go look up the etymology of pyramid, you'll find para, okay, which is a pyra or pyro, which says fire, and then mid, which is to say the middle of, or the center of, or the centra of a thing. Go look it up and you'll find it. You'll literally say what says pyramid is say middle fire, or fire in the middle in Greek. Okay? So how could a pyramid be fire in the middle when if I'm looking at a capstone, right, it looks like it's at the top? Well, you would have to have an overstanding. If you're having an understanding and standing up under that pyramid with an angle of elevation, okay, then you will not know that science. But when we bring you up here and say, look down there, behold, downward, have an angle of depression and look at this world beneath you, you will see what we're saying. And only the gods can see from above, okay? The mortals who forgot, okay, the mortals who die or who are dead, that's why mort it's mortis or mortus, which is still death, okay? The mortals don't remember. They're not members of Re. Remember, Ra. And when you become members of the Re or the light, then you remember. Okay, then you can recall, then you're reminded, or the Ray that allows for the light to come to your essence. Okay, when you're introduced to it, you say, this makes sense to me. Okay, so that's why Para is fire. That's why when I say Lu Cipher or Luz Cipher or Luz Fear, what am I saying? Lu means light. Go look it up. Lu, lux, lux. All right, lux is light. Okay, and if I say cipher, it means to decode something or to break something down. But if you say lux ferro, okay, the word ferro in Latin is to say what? What is ferro to say? It is to say to pick something up and to carry it. Are you with me? So if I pick something up and I carry it, and we're speaking about Lucifer, which is to say light, then that means pick up your pyramid or pick up your cross, take up your cross and carry it and walk with me. I learned in the pyramid orders. This is what he was literally telling you. And if you want to walk how I walked, then you're going to have to come and do what I had to do. I had to die and be born again. You must be born again. All right? I walked through the order of Melchizedek. I met the angel of righteousness or justice. I walked through the order of Ma'at. Because a lot of people don't want to say that Melchizedek, even though you want to think of it to be a masculine aspect or characteristic, as you call it, or attribute or being, you're speaking of Ma'at, okay, which is really a feminine aspect, which is one of the hidden secrets of Mir, which is why one of the other words for Mir would be what? Sea, S-E-A, which is the waters. A lot of people may not know that, but we'll look it up though, because the waters is the woman. So he walked through the orders of the woman, and he figured out what Atum Re was, okay? Which is Atum, you're saying hidden, something that is concealed or held back. And it's a light that not everybody understands. And the first time you were exposed to this type of experience was when you were conceived in the womb, because there was a light that lit up whoever your mother was, okay? And you were inside of her womb in darkness. And scientists are showing you now that they're able to detect that moment of conception and say, yes, there is an explosion or a bringing forth or coming forth of light even in the womb, and they can detect it now. Are you with me? So we weren't tripping. So there's a light that happens in the womb, a spark or a climax or a big bang that yields you, and you're in darkness up until that point of you being released out into the light. And then when you say you want to become an enlightened being or an awakened being, what do you have to do? What did he say? You have to take up your cross, do the same thing I did. I had to be crucified on the cross, meaning I had to go up to that mountain. I've been to the mountaintop. I had to see the promised land. I've seen the promised land. And I had to lay out on that cross and give my life. I had to sacrifice who I thought I was before I met this young brother, Faise One. Or I had to sacrifice who I thought that I was before I ran into young elder. Or I had to sacrifice who I thought I was before I heard the voice of Malachi York. All right, or Zoduk, Malachi Zoduk, York L. All right, I had to sacrifice who I thought I was before I met Jesus or read about a man named Jesus. Okay, I had to give myself away. All right, so that I could say, the same way the Masons do, there is a supreme being beyond me, especially as a man. There is a Superman, a God, or a guide, G-U-I-D-E. And as long as I'm willing, I will be able to get up on top of that capstone and activate that fire inside of me. And that's why they told you that there was darkness first. Are you with me? When you go read the book of Matthew, chapter 27, I think it was verse 45, all right? 27:45, when it was speaking about the 6th hour. A lot of people talk about the 9th hour, but they speak about the 6th hour too. And they said there was darkness during that 6th hour, up until the point of the 9th hour. All right? So what is that saying? The yin, darkness. And then the yang, the 9, okay, which is the light. Where at what point did he give up his ghost? After that 9th hour. When Christ was supposed to be on that cross, he gave up his spirit. His spirit did what? His ghost did what? His soul did what? It rose up off the cross. Rosy Cruz. Rosy Cross. Rosicrucian. Are you with me? So when you're saying Rosicrucian, you're speaking of a story of a man that was willing to give himself, okay? Which means that he reached another type of level, which we can get into, All right? Because even as he gave himself, he stood around for a while. He stuck around for a while. Okay, which you'll find another gem, Acts 1:9, until he finally left. Acts 1:9, where he went up into a cloud, and they say the cloud, what? Hid him from everybody's sight, or received him from out of their sight. Where he left as a flesh being, he said, touch me, feel me, I'm flesh. Does the spirit have flesh and bones? This was a ritual of an initiate who was finally able to ascend. You can take it literally or allegorically. That's why everything we created for you bears that you might receive basic instructions before leaving the earth or the lower planes that you have been exposed to. So the yin is the 6th hour. And everything of that time period, the 6th, is in your books. Go read the book of Matthew chapter 27 and make me a truth teller. All right? And then the 9th hour comes, which is the yang. And that yang brings forth light. That's the yin and yang symbol. Okay, because Christ stuck around, what does that make him? It makes him what you call a bodhisattva. Bodhisattva. What is a bodhi? Interestingly enough, a bodhi is a messenger. A lot of people may not know that. A bodhi is a messenger. A bodhi is somebody who comes to bring you a message. All right? Now, a bodhi is also somebody who is awakened. And a bodhisattva is somebody who says, you know what? I have awakened to the point where I can reach heaven, nirvana. I can leave right now. My life is mine to lay it down or pick it up. But I'm going to stay. Because if I leave right now, then nobody will be here to help these suffering people. So he became a Bodhi at that point, or a Buddha. It's the same thing if you go look it up. As a matter of fact, they got a story about the Bodhi tree. Okay? We should go watch a movie. It was called 1,000 Words. I just watched it today. Okay? 1,000 Words. One of my favorite movies with Eddie Murphy. All right? Where, what's 1,000 words? What's the first thing popping to your mind? A picture. Because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, correct? If you can get that simple science, you ready for the esoteric. If you can get that simple science, you ready for the occult. If you can get that simple science, you ready to understand what Jesus was really trying to tell you. All right? Where a picture is worth 1,000 words. You go back to the most ancient languages and you'll find the hieroglyphs. Okay? Heru, sun, glyphs, carvings, writings, the writings of the sun. When somebody was bringing you light and said, look, because you can shine this light on this picture or this emoji before Apple or before Steve Jobs, you had emojis and hieroglyphs, okay? You had emojis in what's referred to as the pig pen cipher, all right? If you're not familiar with it, go look it up, the pig pen cipher. I can give you a cipher to show you which letters will be aligned with which symbol, and then subtract the letters and give you the symbols, and you should be able to break it down from that point on, okay? But it's still the similar thing, like cuneiform, where we're giving you carvings or writings that's supposed to show you that each and every one of these sigils could be deliberated upon millions of different ways, okay? So that means only the ones who have the true light could tell you what the symbols actually are, okay? So what? He was going up against the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He was going up against the so-called, you understand, main people, the Jews, or whoever the ones who were supposed to be leading at that time. He was going against them. And they wanted to stone him. And they wanted to shut him down. And they wanted to crucify him. Okay? They wanted to kill him because he was able to decipher, listen, break down the light. Okay? So that's why they want you to see people like that, people like us, as Lucifers. Okay? Until we come through and break down and say, family, anybody who accesses the light can do whatever they will to do with it. Once you get the truth, you can choose to stay in an illusionary world. What was the Merovingian in the Matrix movie? The one who chose to stay and eat the steak even though he knew the steak was false? All right?
Yeah, Cypher.
It was Cypher.
Cypher.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I forgot that it was Cypher. I remember that it was supposed to be some Merovingian. I appreciate that's a key. That's key. Okay? This Cypher being stayed behind. Even though he knew he was one of the ones who was exposed to the true light or what the reality actually was. Are you with me? So the point is, because he chose to stay, all right, as a Buddha or a Bodhi, okay, he was able to bring forth sciences that a lot of people didn't have. He was able to show you, look, I've laid my life down already. What are you going to do with what I left for you? And then there was eventually the time that came where he said, yo, I have to leave. And he told them that what? Howbeit the spirit of what? Truth Same thing that he said that was going to make you free. The spirit of truth, the comforter, as people call it. All right, or the Paracletes, or Ahmed, depending on what walk of life you're coming from, because the Muslims know a little deeper about that than the Christians may. All right, depending on what you study. But he said there was going to be another messenger, or Rasulullah. Okay, so Bodhi means messenger. Was Jesus a messenger of God? Yes, he was. He brought forth a message straight from his Father, according to what the books was telling us. He brought forth the truth, the life, and the way, and said that there was no other way that you would make it unto the Father but through whatever that was, the truth, the life, and the way. So a lot of people mistake it and say, oh, you got to go through Jesus. That's not what it means. It means you have to go through the truth, the life, and the way. You have to go through each of those levels that Jesus had to go through. And any other Buddha. So that's why we say focus on the main 3 degrees, because that's what it takes to build your pyramid. Focus on the main 3 degrees. That's what it takes to rise up off that cross. And once you become yourself a Rosicrucian and you know what it means to carry that cross, now you can what? Be a torch bearer. Which brings you back to the word Pharaoh. Pharaoh. What is Pharaoh? It means to carry. But what is a Pharaoh? Pharaoh is saying to what you will become, or a leader, authority. Okay? So a Pharaoh is somebody who carries something. But I just broke down to you that they carried the cross, which is the pyramid orders, like Tahuti taught them to. Okay? And a Pharaoh is also saying Pharaoh to carry, and Pharaoh, Piro, a fire. So you're carrying a light. You're a torch bearer. And what does Pharaoh also mean? It means to bear something. And what does Lucifer mean? It means to bear light. Okay? Or to carry light. So Lucifers are torch bearers. Jesus was a torch bearer. That doesn't mean that the character Lucifer and Jesus are the same people. That means that both of them had light. Both of them knew the truth. Remember, when he was supposed to be tempting Jesus, did he not cite scripture? Did he not remember what was written? Did he not try to pull the trick with the Psalms? But he said, what? Remember, look, the angels is going to save you. You ain't going to hit your head on the rock. He said, but you ain't supposed to tempt the Lord. You know what I mean? Meaning we're not just supposed to be using this science for no reason. He said, well, all you got to do is bow down to me and come up under my kingdom. I'll give you all of this. Right? And what did he remind you in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 33? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, which he told you was inside of you, and his righteousness, and all the things will be added unto you. Okay? And all the things that he was speaking about in that chapter. Okay? Which is the light that you seek, or the light that you seek, will be added unto you. Are you with me? So you're speaking about pharaohs, or pharaohs, people who carry a thing. And if you say the word pharaoh, you're saying 2 words. Ta, fe, fa, and ro. Fa, ro. What is fa? Fa is the golden ratio. Go look it up, PHI. The golden ratio, which you go look up what the symbol or the emblem is for that, you'll see a line and you'll see a circle. All right? A line and a circle, which is similar to the scales of Ma'at. And that's important because when you're referring to phi or the golden ratio, you're speaking about a spiral or things being kept in cosmic order. Okay? So the first order that was known to man had to still be in alignment with the first order that was known to man, which is the golden ratio order 1.618 or the phi. And all of the rule or the knowledge that came with phi. So you get the phi rule and you still look at that and you'll see a torch. Go look at the emblem or the symbol of phi and you'll see a torch. Okay? So for those of you who carry not only the phi, the fire, all right, or the ruh, the soul, or the ruh, the knowledge, okay, you're pharaohs, you're carrying your torch, and you're able to walk around to other people, and if you take a torch and somebody else's torch is not lit, you can take your torch and put it over to theirs, catch that wick, and light theirs aflame. The fire is going to burn. As long as yours is on fire, it ain't going to run out of fire. And both of you can go around now touching other people and catch their wick and say, yo, I'm going to lighten you or enlighten you. I'm going to light you up. You understand? Now you can see your way or patara, the way, or dao, tao, okay? Which interestingly enough, when you say torchbearer, it starts with a T. And that T still looks like the symbol that people are referring to as the cross, which is really just the Tao or the mystic Tao or the T for tail. Are you with me? So watch this. One more thing. When you say pharaoh, you also say fire Okay, F-I-R-E. Split those words, or that word in two. Fire, fi, okay, and re, fire, re. Still saying to ra, or fire. So pharaoh, pyro, pira, fire, fire, is still speaking about light. And for all of you who are coming up under that golden ratio, what's golden in ancient Kemet? The sun is referred to as the Aten, the solar disk. Okay? The golden ratio, or that spiral of order, all of you who come up under it, then you're walking in accordance to what's referred to as the Fibonacci. Now listen to this phonetically. Fib is not G. What is a fib? A fib is a lie. Okay? So the fib or the fallacy is not the G that we're speaking about, or the chi, or the key that we're speaking about when we say the true light. Stay with me. Fib is not chi. Fibonacci. He said, well, what else could you break down with Fibonacci? You say Fibonacci, or key. So fi or fi is to say daughters of. And bena is to say sons of. And key is to say the spirit. All right, well, you'll find that in Romans chapter 8:14. Okay, and read on. And it'll tell you about the sons and daughters of the spirit, or the universal spirit, which I broke down to you is still Rei, when you're speaking in terms of Reiki in Japanese, which is still the sun, or the universal spirit or source that you're not supposed to forget, according to who? Pharaoh, Ankh, and Aten. Don't forget the key to what? Your life is the solar disk, the Aten. All right? So for those of you who are walking up under the Fib, or in accordance to the Fibonacci, okay, you are the sons and daughters, or the daughters and sons, Fi, Ben, the daughters and sons of Ahu, Ki, or Chi, which is that life, or that true life, or that G that sits in between the Masonic square and compasses. Are you with me? That's what we want to remind you. So Jesus came through to remind you the same thing. Elijah came through to remind you the same thing. Moses came through to remind you the same thing. Moses brought you the pillars. If you remember, Moses brought you the tablets, the two tablets, the what do you call it? The 613, the 613 commandments. All right, Moses brought you the pillars, the Torah, T-O-B-Ra. Moses brought you that. All right, and that was, again, everything we gave you was pairs, so that you might receive instructions. 2 tablets. Are you with me? So Jesus was somebody who came forth with the true light, and he wanted people to remember that true light. He wanted people to hold on to the true light so they can find through that truth their life and the Tao, which is the Tao, their way. So yes, Jesus was, it's a million words to say yes, he was a part of the occult. He was a torchbearer, okay? And if you believe in the story, he has to still be one, because he never died, truthfully. He left the planet alive. So that was a torchbearer who became an ascended master, or a Buddha, which still means awakened, or a Bodhi. Go watch the movie Rock Dog, and you'll see that there was a character called Bodhi, all right, who had the ability to use music to ward off the wolves, to protect the sheep. And he had to go to the mountain to play that new song that could defeat the wolves, the same way they showed you in the book of Revelation chapter 14, all right? So yes, Jesus was a part of the occult.
Yeah, and you could you could have went all day on that one, because you can go into how he raised Lazarus. That was like part of part of the Masonic order, 33 degrees, all that. It's all up in there, But this is the next question we got for you, Faise. Now, we know that in some occult orders, they do these sacrifice, they do the blood rituals. Now, what is the connection with why do we have to do a blood ritual? What is the purpose? What is the energy on that? What does that do for them? Why they gotta have blood? Whether it be a baby or some goat or chicken. Why do people use this type of energy in certain occults? Go ahead.
It's for the same reason why people were told in the Old Testament to not consume blood, because life is in the blood. It's for the same reason why certain orders of people were told don't even consume meat that had blood in it. Okay, because life is in the blood. So if life is in the blood, we were warned about meat eating or being carnivores, because if you have no psychic defense, which most people don't, all right, you're taking in all of the trauma, the pain and the suffering of whatever the animal went through. You understand? This is energy that's recorded, and every time there's an adrenal release, okay, or a traumatic experience that anybody has, it's registered in the blood. When you see a dog, or if you're afraid of dogs, if you see a dog, or if you see somebody coming with a gun to harm somebody, or whatever that adrenaline rush is, that's happening in the blood. That's a message being sent out through the blood. Are you with me? So go watch the movie Monsters, Inc. And remember that they used the machine to siphon energy from the children after they were afraid. Okay? They call it Monsters Incorporated. Monsters Incorporated, because you're speaking about extraterrestrial beings or other people who have stepped away from whatever the order was, but you have two different types of what's referred to as warlocks. Okay? Where a warlock is to say a warrior who went Logan, all right, or who betrayed whatever the coven was, or stepped away from whatever the order was. So a lot of these people received sciences and stepped away from whatever the order was, and they started to say, okay, life is in the blood, well, we should just go to what's referred to as the youth fountain in secret, which is the babies, and take the blood from the babies because they have the purest blood. All right. And what they think is going to happen when they drink this blood is it's supposed to be symbolic of them purifying themselves. But in all actuality, they're trying to make themselves younger in spirit. And they're trying to have access to other types of realms. The same way if you drink a fifth of vodka, you start accessing this reality on a different plane. If you smoke cannabis, you start accessing this reality on a different plane. So when they drink baby's blood, with all of the charges in the blood, they start accessing different realities. It's just reality. Even when you have an orgasm, you're in a different state of existence during an orgasm than you would be outside of the orgasm, which is why other people like Aleister Crowley, okay, spoke about the science of sodomy, where he was being taught by Iowas and Lamb that if he was sodomizing people, then he would put him in a different state to receive different types of wisdom, which is still the darker wisdom, because remember, all of that's root or amberlight magic. Okay? So those who practice that, they're amberlight beings. However, the science is still real. It's just that they're doing what they're not supposed to do. That's why I told you it's two different types of warlocks, because a lot of times when somebody comes up as somebody who's raised up in that order or was referred to as a coven, they still have the choice of whether or not they're going to keep the oath. All right. Another way to say warlock, if you go look into the etymology, you're just saying an oath breaker, which is why if you go listen to a lot of my songs, I said real warlock, referring to myself, real warlock, not the card reader. I might nuke y'all. Why was I saying I was a warlock? Faise, it doesn't make sense. You just said the warlock was the oath breakers. Well, I didn't keep the oath of masonry. I didn't keep the oath of concealment. I didn't say that just because we received these sciences and were told that we weren't supposed to tell them, that I was going to agree with that moving forward. I disagreed. So I would be referred to as a warlock, meaning an oath breaker when it comes to masonry. And when I was brought up in all of the other sacred arts, I said, oh, I'm gonna bring people magic. I'm gonna teach people magic. They say you can't do that, it's sacred. Okay, sacred for how long? We don't want it to get in the wrong hands. So I tell you, it's no such thing. It's already in the wrong hands. So that's where certain warlocks do the works of the emerald light, and certain warlocks do the work of the amberlight. And the reason why I brought up the term warlock is because if you go look up the etymology of it, you will also find that it means a monster. Are you with me? So the business of the monsters, and they know that they're warlocks. They know that they're doing the business of the monsters. A lot of them extraterrestrials, a lot of them demonic beings, a lot of them just people like yourself and I who decided to take this light and go amber with it. Okay? So what's the ink on Monsters, Inc.? It's a business, incorporated. So blood is currency. Blood is business, which is why you're not supposed to be playing with Jan. All right? I don't care how many people tell you embrace your demons. Stop listening to them, because if anybody telling you embrace demons, they probably never ran into one. All right? We know what we're talking about. We don't need Bobby, none of them to try to tell us what a demon is. We know what we talk about when we say demons, if you've encountered them. But a lot of y'all are YouTube scholars. A lot of people are YouTube practitioners, and you never had to get out in that field. When you get out in that field, you never been trapped in a realm where you have to literally fight your way through to get back to your body. Okay? Because there's a demon who saw you that did not want you to get back to your body before you did. Before they did. You understand? That's a demon. Or other demons are demons who plague people during sleep paralysis. We know what these beings are. We're not confused. We don't need nobody trying to break us down daemon or find it for us in Greek. We already went through those schools. No, when we're saying a demon, what we're referring to is dark, lower vibratory beings, incubi, succubi, okay, killers, archons, all kind of different names for these beings, who their whole purpose is to affect the material plane in whatever way they can, even if it means they become a parasite or possess a person to cause that person to do the works, and they start fucking up the material plane just because they can. You understand? Or just because they wanted to. Are you with me? So for those people who may be confused about what I'm saying, go watch the movie Monsters, Inc. and pay attention to it as an adult now, not as a child. Pay attention to it as an adult and see how dark that movie was. Are you with me? So they're using the blood because of the yield of the blood. All right? There's genetic information in the blood. There's genetic code in the blood. All right? There's recordings about what you ate today in the blood. There's recordings about what happened at the moment of your death or your demise recorded in the blood. Okay? So when they're drinking the baby's blood, these are crystal beings or youthful beings or new beings. They're taking in all that energy, which if you take, what I'm really saying, if you take a pen, all right, all of the energy inside of this pen, if it were to unravel in a split second, okay, according to the sciences that brothers Einstein brought forth, okay, if you were to unravel this pen or unpack this pen, you could destroy an entire civilization. All right, E equals MC squared. Because everything that's packed in this pen, all right, is way more than what it appears to be just by the energy that holds this pen together. People can't even fathom it. It's the same with babies. They come in with all that energy. Are you with me? Purity. You ever seen how people get this cuddle fever where they just want to hold a baby and shake a baby and they just gravitating toward a baby? They don't realize they're siphoning from the baby. They're pulling the energy. They say, oh, it's so cute. They just get to shaking it. They want to hug it and squeeze it. Why? It just got here. Well, there's a part of your being that may have needed to be healed. So you went to that baby because it has enough to give. But these demons take advantage of that and they slaughter the babies. And that's where they created the story like the youth fountain. The youth fountain is a very dark and twisted way of speaking about how Dracula, or the draconian beings as you call them, all right, those dragons would go and bite on the jugular of the babies and suck the blood, okay, or siphon the blood. When you get into the whole twisted, you know, the circumcision stories with the oral tradition people and all, you know what I'm talking about, right? Sucking blood, okay? The whole purpose was to extract life, okay? So anybody can, again, it's information, and they know it's information, and they know it's true. So whether it's evil or good doesn't matter to these people. That's why more people need to know what's really going on so you can combat it. All right. Well, I tell you, the dragon wants your children. Revelation chapter 12 told you that, where they spoke about the dragon waiting to consume the child. Why? You understand? And it was supposed to be a male child that was supposed to change the world, and all of this energy packed into this one being and a prophecy wrapped around them. But the dragon wanted to consume them. You need to be cautious of the fact that they got the dragons teaching in the schools or reading in the school. They call it Dragon Story Hour, the 6th hour. And they let in the dragons, drag queens, all right, come and read to the children. And they literally dressed up like dragons, some of them, all right, because they want the children. And as long as they can get the people, all right, the adults twisted and perverted and not focus on the children, then they'll have all the children they want, all the children they need. It's a real dirty game, for lack of better words, but it's real. And they put it in the movies and showing it all over the place, and people don't know what they're talking about. What you got for me?
Hey man, you just going in, you dropping. Hey, you my new jeweler now, man. You my new jeweler. You dropping straight custom joints. You dropping custom made pieces on the dick, man. Hey, I got another one for you. We got another one for you. So, shout out Family Matters. It says, so are demons, bacteria, aliens, or what? Everyone has a different meaning, right? So it says, so can demons be bacterias, viruses, all the way up? I guess that's what he asked. Shout out Family Matters.
Yeah, it depends. So you could say it's a parasite. You could say it's bacteria or backed up negative energy. or real people. You can say this motherfucker's a demon. Niggas going around calling themselves demons now. You understand? Or it could be a race of beings that you just aren't familiar with, and they may appear grotesque, okay, or they might appear ferocious, but that's just their genetic makeup, like the Greys, okay? Because if you look at the image of a demon and look at the image of a Grey, it's the same exact image as we've gone over. You understand? So demons are life forms, ultimately, that you may or may not be aware about, and they have technology that you may or may not be aware about. Some refer to it as invisibility cloaks or quantum stealth technology, okay, but they can walk through your home, okay, they have the ability to speed up their molecular structure to the point where they can pass through like gases, all right, and then rematerialize and make themselves be solid again, okay, when you say walking through walls. There's a science to walking through walls. Eventually, they'll be able to tell you that they can do that now, okay? It's only science. It's not really mystical. That's the point. Once you get past the mystics, you get to the science, okay? So these demons are living, conscious beings, life forms. Remember that I said life forms so that you don't spiritualize it too much, all right? And they still need to survive. So if human beings are their resource or if human beings are their food, that's what they're going to eat. The yields of the human being or the energetic yields of the human being, they're going to consume that, all right? So anything that's ailing a person, okay, where you have a parasitic relationship, anything ailing a person is demonic. And then a person has to go through the purging or the exorcist to exorcise that demon, which you can literally exercise to get rid of demons. I don't know if people know that. You can do push-ups, you can do cardio, you can literally exercise to get rid of parasites, or you can fast, which is just another way to say speed up the environment because they're attracted to slow, lower vibratory environments, okay? Whether it be in the gut, in the brain, whatever, all right? So absolutely, 100%, demons are real. You've experienced them in different ways, the same way God is real, and you've experienced it or them in different ways. It's just, again, it depends on the situation. It's just a word that's being utilized to speak of, most of the time, a vicious being, okay? Think of the word instinctual. They don't care about the host. They just care about surviving. So whatever they do to you, they don't care. Go watch the movie Venom again. That was a demon, all right? But it appears as a parasite. And it had all of the side effects of a real scientific parasite. He was eating chocolate and eating chickens, and he couldn't control himself, and his bags under his eyes, and he getting tired out of nowhere. And it's because you're housing a whole nother living being. Are you with me? So 100%. It's all the above.
Yeah, also to add to what you were saying, Jesus, when he was walking, for my Bible guys, when he healed certain people, especially some people that was like lame or like walking funny, he always said that there was a demon on them, and he cast that demon. When he cast the demon off of them, it healed whatever their illness was or whatever. Right. So it's connected right there too. All right, the next question we got for you, because that was all right one. All right, shout out Nina. It says, what happens to babies that are miscarriage, aborted, or come not through the womb, not the birth canal, hands pink waving? All right, so so I guess what do they? I think you probably got something on this phase. To reword what she's saying, like they take the mother's embryo in the hospital, and they do. I got a couple ideas. I heard stories. What they do with this stuff, and it's so we hearing stories about the occult using the fetus and the leftover stuff from the thing. Some people are keeping it now. The hospital they'll fight you on it to keep it, right? But what are they doing? What is the occult using that particular part of it? I guess that's what she asking. Go ahead.
Speaking about when they take the placenta of the mother, and yeah, so I don't really like to speak on it because I don't know firsthand what they're doing. I don't really like to go, and you could go into that because I don't really know firsthand. And everything I say from that point would just be hearsay. Everything else I've spoken about, I've been exposed to it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But I don't know exactly what they do. All I know is that you have it being taught. I was taught coming up that they would use like the fetuses of the baby for flavoring of certain products like Coke products and things like that. They would literally eat it or, mix it into their melatonin mixes It's all kind of things that I've heard. But again, I'll be speculating at that point. I don't know it firsthand. Speak on it.
A couple things that I heard they was doing with it. The recent stuff was they was taking it to make high-end makeup for rich women. And another thing, they was taking it to make I heard they was putting in Gatorade and all that too, you know, chips and things of that nature, Doritos.
Right.
But the main thing I heard was high-end makeup, and it was high-end makeup and one more other thing they was doing with it. Something like the melatonin thing. Like, oh yeah, high-end makeup, and they was making skin lotion with it. And the reason why I believe that's partially true, because the reptilians do use the fat, this type of fat, to rub on their skin like a sunblock. Some of these certain groups of reptilians that's interdimensional, when they materialize in this plane, in order to stay in the sun type area, they moisturize their skin. Arizona Wilder talked about it in that tape. And that's as far as I know about it. Like I say, I ain't seen that firsthand on it, but I know I seen firsthand where they argue with you. They don't want to let you take the placenta from the hospital.
Yeah, my mama,
you can't do that.
My Omi didn't say about that. My Omi made sure that she brought home her placentas. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I'm the type of person where if I don't know, I'm just gonna I can let you know what I've heard, and I'm gonna let you know that this is what I've heard. I haven't experienced it enough, and I'm not a mother, okay, obviously, where I haven't even had to encounter where, like my sister and my mother did, they will try to fight you about your own belongings. It's your body and what belongs to you. I just don't know, and I don't like to really get into what I don't know because it falls into the realm of conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know.
Yeah. All right, the next one we have for you, it says, in the Bible, it speaks of a gift received of being born of a woman, hand pink waving. Oh, that's Nina again. Shut up. It says it speaks of a gift received of being born of a woman. You might have to rephrase that question. I don't understand that question. I got another question for you while we waiting on them to get us some good ones. We need some good ones. Hey, this phase, y'all got to come up with better questions than this. Y'all asking light shit. This is
they got a good question. This is a good question.
What you say?
I said it's a good question.
Yeah, they got some good questions, but they light, man. You need to go. Y'all need to come harder, man. This right here, we got the guy that can answer all your shit. Hey, I got another question about the occult while we on the occult science. Now, I heard, and I don't know how much this is true, but somebody told me, one of my teachers that was high up in the Masons, he said that when you become 30, he wasn't 33rd degree, but he said when you become 33rd degree, they give you a gift. And this gift that they give you is how to alchemically turn a $10 bill into 100. Have you ever heard anything like that about in the Masonic order about them turning a 10 into 100? These 30. Go ahead.
Yeah, the story of the talents. You got to remember the biblical story of the talents, where there was somebody who came forth and gave 3 men, right, a certain amount of talents, 10 talents apiece. All right. Or I think it was actually, I'm messing it up. It was 10 talents to one person, 5 talents to another person. I think it was one. I'm fucking it up. But niggas had talents and shit. Right. And when he left, okay, one person took the talents and buried it. Okay. Another person took it and just flipped it upon, I think it was 5 to flip it upon 5 more. All right. And doubled it. And another person took the 10 and doubled theirs. Okay. When he returned, the person who had his talents buried in the ground, he went off on him and said, yo, you were supposed to multiply this. Okay. So without going into too much, to say taking 10 and turn it into 100 is to take the works that you've been given, because you're really supposed to be able to do this. I don't know why they said 30 seconds. You're supposed to be able to do this at the 3rd degree, which is the whole point of you going through it, the Master Mason, so you learn the works of the hands. Are you with me? That's what the point of it is. You take whatever we've been giving you and you multiply it. You bring it out to the rest of the world. You take the 3 loaves of bread and the fish and you multiply it. You understand? It's to be able to take whatever the science is and not just take it in faith, do the works, so that if I take and I give you $10 and you multiply it, now you got $100. Not only do you know how to multiply $10, you can multiply $100 because you know the science of multiplying a $10 bill. Are you with me? So you bring that out to more people. It's all about the works. That's what it's about. It's saying that whatever we gave you, you magnify it and increase upon it. But that's supposed to be learned at the third degree. I don't know why they said that. The third degree is about the works. You understand? Go ahead.
Hey, that's I'm glad you said that, because I'm gonna approach them about that next time I see him, because that makes sense what you said. It make now that I do my studies, and it makes sense what you said. Somebody said, yep. Yeah. This is okay, we got one. What is your thoughts on trade school, college? Is it worth it in this day of time?
It's worth it.
I guess that'll be like an outside question. Like trade, what's your thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I say no because you don't have to.
I said, what's your thoughts? Go ahead.
Yeah, I say no because you don't have to. If you want the experience, yeah, go for the experience. Listen, if you need a degree in something to do the works that you want to do, then go for it. It's just in this day and time, I know a lot of people talk down on the internet and what you can learn on it. Don't underestimate it though. Okay? Don't underestimate the internet. We talk shit, but it's a lot that you can learn. There are a lot of courses. You got Khan Academy, all of that you can take and really get into whatever the skill is. You can learn a skill on TikTok now. You understand? You can learn a skill now. If you want certification, that's another thing that you will have to go through the due process. Okay, but if you're not concerned about certification, if you just want to be a mechanic, or whatever it is, even still, you still need certain type of certifications for that. All right, but if you just want to do a thing like become a videographer, you can learn that shit on YouTube. You can learn that shit in one day, and then go out and make your own good mistakes. Okay, because your good mistakes is going to take you to figuring out what your vision is and what your approach to the whole art is to begin with. So what I would say is, if you are going for the experience, either the experience or for the certification necessary to do the works that you're getting into, then yeah, go for it. If not, nah, hell nah, to hell with that. Like, you can do all that, learn with your experience in your everyday life, get your nuggets from whatever courses online, all of that. You don't got to waste your time with paying these people millions of dollars, all this other. No, just get whatever you need to get and go out and do exactly what you need to do with it. Because you go to college, you're going to learn a whole lot of shit you don't need. You feel what I'm saying? Same thing with school. We learned a whole lot of shit ain't none of us going to use. We learned about how Sally can pick up 3 apples, go across the street with them and cross at a certain angle, and we ain't never used that shit. We want to help Sally cross the street. You feel what I'm saying? So it's certain things you're going to need, certain things you're not going to need. It's just up to you, depending on what you're going for. So if it's for the experience, go get it. And I'm speaking from experience because I had a full ride to go to college. I didn't go because my family was going through what they were going through. We were homeless at that time. This is back in 2017. So I chose to stay and help my family. I didn't need it. You understand? If I needed it, I would have been like, hey, look, y'all going to have to, you know what I'm saying, figure this out. No, I didn't need to go to college. I stayed to help my family. So if you feel that you need the experience or want the experience, then go for it. Okay, and just be cautious, especially if you're younger, all right? If you're younger than me, I'm 25. Be cautious. College is 90% experience, 10% books, okay? For all you sisters out there, you got to be cautious, okay? Especially if you're going in as a freshman. They're going to be on you. And brothers, y'all too, more so the sisters, all right? You get distracted. You think you got freedom. You on your own. Oh, I live by myself. I got a dorm. That's when people lose their way. Next thing they know, they don't even know who they are anymore. You feel what I'm saying? So be cautious of that. If you're going, go with what you have set in mind, all right? And go with intentions of completing that goal. And anything that's going to take you off that goal, you will be wasting your own time. A lot of people went, that I had friends of mine, they didn't make it back. Some people went, and they went and got their certification, and they're doing what they said they were going to do. It depends on who you are and what you're going for. You understand? So for me, I say, hell no, you don't need it. But if this is what you want to do, you go ahead and do what you got to do. Just be cautious about what you're doing and take more time to think about your future, not just right now and what you feel.
Yeah, hey, what you're saying is true, man. And then you sound like I can hear Baba talking when like coming in and out through you. I can hear his voice, like I can hear his frequencies. I got another question for you. Somebody asked this question in the chat. They said, do you got anything on voodoo dolls, and how do they able to get them connected to the people so that they'll work. You know what I'm saying? Is it some kind of spiritual connection? Is it some kind of electric connection? What is it that make it to where when a nigga poke a doll, this nigga, he feels the effects of it? You got anything on there? Go ahead.
But I'm not gonna lie to you, that's TV. You know what I'm saying? That part about poking a dog, that's a little more TV. Not saying it's impossible, but that shit TV. Was really and listen, I've made them before, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay. There's different ways you can make them. Okay. Just to start with the simplest basics of it, right? You can use candle wax, you can use wood and carve out a body, you can draw it on paper, you can get what's referred to as a rag doll, you get some literal rags and you stuff it with cotton and you tie it at certain ends to create a body. There's a million different ways to make them. The moment you put an image to something, okay, it starts taking on whatever that form was of that image. It becomes an object at that point, or an inanimate object at that point. All right? Think of the word imagination. I'm answering your question. Imagination. You have the word image and nation. All right? Imagination. Image is the thing that you could fathom to the most basic or discrete degree. All right? The simplest degree that you could fathom. Watch this. A blue car. Now, everybody that's listening, you're doing this exercise with me, you should be able to see a blue car. A blue car. All right? Now, you only see whatever image you see. Some of y'all see a car facing off to the side. Some of y'all see it facing head on. Some of y'all may have been standing behind it, looking at the trunk. But you see a blue car. All right? Now, this is an image. In order for you to imagine or bring more light to activate your imagination for that car, all right, you would have to visualize that car in motion, okay, moving in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Now, you may not be able to grasp what I'm telling you, or you may be able to. Whatever you just did created another universe, all of you. Everything that I just said, if you replicated that in your mind, you created another universe. And that universe exists only for a car that's driving around aimlessly and will continue to do that. And what's referred to as a loop, okay? Unless you were to set in more intention on where that car was going, give that car a location, a destination, okay? Say what type of car it is, what type of fuel it takes, who's driving it, what street are they driving on, how often do they drive it. Everything that you are taking into consideration when it comes to those details is adding onto a newer reality or a newer universe. And you're bringing light to an image, imagination. The most discrete image that you could think of is the image at first, and then you bring life to it, right? So if you were to form a body of a person, and this person doesn't have a psychic defense, which is a whole different conversation, right? And I want to put that out there so people can know, why would you tell them that, Faise? Listen, we covered over here. We know what we're doing. It's actually not smart for anybody to even try it in this direction. Watch, okay? If you were to take and form any type of body and put an image to it, you have attached this body to their life. Because not only did you say blue car to create a new universe, that universe only existed and exists now because of the reality of a blue car already. If I say, think of this, think of a Abula Patibulala. You say, what the fuck is that? You don't know what an Abula Patibulala is? You can't imagine that, can you? Abula Patibulala. You say, what the fuck is this nigga saying? I'm not saying shit. So you can't create a universe with it unless you go and make up for yourself what the fuck an Abula Patibulala is. But now if I say, think of an orange elephant. An orange elephant. And now you can see that. Because you know about the color orange and you know about the color elephant. Now watch this. Think of a say, what the fuck wrong with Faise? You know how to create that, don't you? No, you can't because it doesn't exist. So everything that exists for you now is what's referred to as an element. All right? And people are elemental. So the reason why it works, look at the word elemental. Ella, God, mental, mind. And when you study the Hermeticas, what is it? All is mind. The universe is mental. All is mental, elemental. God is mental. Everything is connected. Okay, so then there's a medium called existence that has different sub-mediums in it, whether it be water, air, or fire. Okay, so you have to remember this key thing. Matter and thought are one and the same. They're indistinguishable. matter, what you think is real, and thought are one and the same. So when you think an image of a person and you form that image to hold the frequency itself of that person, all right, you can think yourself over to their house right now. You can think yourself into their dream realm, depending on how sharp you are. You can think yourself into their reality. You can cast yourself as a spell to pop up wherever they are, however they are, so that you literally start closing them in, okay? Or you can reverse it. It doesn't always have to be negative. You can take and form the same science to enhance or increase somebody's life, okay? You can wish good on a person. You can bring life to a person. You can surround them with green light, okay? So it's all about the intention first, but don't underestimate image. That's why some of the gurus are coming out teaching now saying all they need is your picture. All somebody needs is your picture to start trying to see things into your life because you exist. If you've never met Michael Jackson and you're a lucid dreamer, you can go to rest this shadow tonight and have a whole conversation with Michael Jackson. Why? Because you know who Michael Jackson is. Now, some of y'all may think of Michael Jackson and think of the one who was the melanin recessive apparent one, or you could think of the one who's the melanin dominant apparent one. Either way, you have some image of a Michael Jackson. You know what it is. You know what he does. You know what he is. You've seen a moonwalk. You can fathom Michael Jackson however you can. When you go into your dream realm and say, Michael Jackson, appear, and you think of Michael, he will pop up in your dream, and you can talk to him. This is why voodoo dolls work, because you don't exist without the observer. Even if yourself is an observer, okay? You don't exist without me observing you. And because I observe you, it ain't shit to take somebody's image and place it on an altar, which the whole purpose of an altar is to do what? To alter something or to change or shift things around. So this is why it's important for those of you who come from the religious orientation, or those who have a spiritual background, you master the art of the psychic defense. All right? Which I'll tell you, the first way to take the power away from somebody who think they powerful is to not give a fuck about them claiming they powerful. Don't give a fuck. The moment you give a fuck, you already lost. All right? They say they got a voodoo doll. Say, make me another one and package it to me so I can have one. You say, no, this is scary. If it's scary, they already working. They already got you. Trust me. I done had to deal with all kind of beings, y'all. I woke up one time, they sent some bobbers at me, okay? Because they can't handle me in real time, so they were sending bobbers. Everybody go to get other people to do work on me. So they went to bobbers, all right? Sometimes the bobbers will come to me and tell me, and they don't know they're going to my people, but sometimes they wouldn't. The bobbers would take on the challenge. And I had to fight 4 bobbers in one reality, one round. Each of them were coming from different colors, green, red, orange, and yellow. Are you with me? And they were coming up from beneath the floor trying to grab me and pull me into the floor. And each time I had to visualize a different room. Okay? And every time I visualized a different room, they were further and further away. I've had one experience where I woke up from my slumber and came back from traveling, and there was squeezing on my heart. I literally felt somebody squeezing my heart. And they showed me what they did. They took a ruby stone and they wrapped copper around it. They said, do this. So I started doing this with my finger, reversing the spiral to unwrap the copper. Are you with me? And then my heart stopped hurting. Are you with me? Now, listen, don't believe what I'm saying. This is only for the people who may be wondering about it, or for the person who asked the question, or for people who, are already in it and may not have known that it's all about that mind, okay? The fastest thing in the universe that you know of is thought. If I tell you to go from Atlanta to the pyramids, the Great Pyramids, okay, and think yourself from Atlanta to the pyramids, and I'm going to take this laser and I'm going to shine it from where I'm at to the pyramids, your thought will make it there before my laser does. And laser is concentrated energy, concentrated light. So it's going to move faster than just regular light. Are you with me? Or natural light. And your thought will still get there before my laser does. Thought is the fastest traveling thing in its reality. And as long as you understand how thought moves and takes on different forms or images, your imagination is boundless at that point. So voodoo dolls ain't the only thing. They put it on this TV. It ain't just voodoo dolls. It's anything. You can take a cow tongue That's where you get into the deeper, darker sciences. You got to think how dark a motherfucker got to do to actually cut the tongue out of a cow anyway. I'm not, that's how you know I'm not into that type of, I can't even, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be one of the people that was even on the farms choking the chicken neck to get out. That's not me. You understand? I never understood that. But you got some people who come up in that order and they do that. They will go and retrieve a goat or a cow tongue and they will bring that shit. And you, next thing you know, you try to figure out why you trying to talk game to a female and you keep choking up. And you used to be the motherfucker. You used to be that nigga with all the game. And then now, all of a sudden, they got jealous of you because you pulled one of the females they wanted to talk to. Next thing you know, you trying to talk to her, you slobbing all out the mouth. You know what the fuck is going on with me? Somebody is nailing a cow tongue somewhere. You don't know where they at. But they nailing a cow tongue to a piece of tree bark. And they uttering things over you that you can't speak now. How you would have been able to speak. Don't believe me. That's fine. What I'm telling you is the same reason why the pastor will be telling you stay away from all that voodoo stuff. It ain't because they don't think it's real. It ain't never because they didn't think it was real. They ain't never say voodoo ain't real. Them pastors know better. Them imams know better. I mean, you really know the history of it. You know, there's a lot of people who was in that were a part of them orders that became Christian and Muslim or Salem. Like with me, notice you had all the Salem cities that were the witches, the Salem witch trials. Salem. Right there hidden. They understood the power of the source. And they wanted to kill all them people in the name of God, too, because they said, oh, if you're not a witch, if you're not a wizard, if you're not a sage, if you're not a warlock, if you're not an ascended master, then God will put out the fire, you understand, when we light this fire up under you, knowing that God wasn't going to do such a thing. They knew that up until the governor's wife got challenged. They said, well, she's a witch, because anybody that even got accused, they killed them, if you remember the British law. You understand? They were killing everybody who was said to even be a practitioner. So they never think that it was false. They just wanted to try to get rid of anybody who was able to use those sciences. And it all depends on your brain, too, because you got different people who have like something called the VMAT2 gene, all right, or the God gene. Go look at the VMAT2 gene, all right, the God gene. When you study that, you'll find that everybody who has that gene active in their brain, they say you're more apt to be spiritual or connected to the universe. So you got some people who could take what I'm saying and they could run with it 1,000,000 miles. And then some people, they touch it and it's going to stay dark. They ain't going to know what to do with it. So for the ones who came through here like, what's up? These are our sciences. They were trying to get rid of all of us. You feel me? That's why they didn't want to fuck with Haiti and Nigeria. All the people. They didn't want to fuck with them because they was really on some other level shit. It was other level. They are afraid of them. And you want to know why they afraid of them? Because them Haitians or Haitians are not afraid of themselves. You feel what I'm saying? But because they want you to be afraid of you and what you can do, look, you go read the Infancy Gospel of Thomas, like I told you, Jesus was knocking niggas off just because he said some shit. Don't tell me intention don't have no power. You understand? So I'm not saying for people to go practice voodoo. Let's get that on record. I'm just answering the question because I can. However, it is very real. All right? It's real. What they call it, voodoo, hoodoo, Yoruba. It's all real, all right? It's just, again, some of you shouldn't touch it. Most of you shouldn't touch it anyway because you haven't rectified what's inside of yourself. And if you touch that light and you wasn't supposed to touch it at that time, you go dark. That's where a lot of people become amber-like beings. When soon they join the conscious community, first thing they want to do is call themselves the darkest of everything. Soon they find out some Egyptians. They want to be Ampu. They want to be Anubis. They want to be every dark being that they can find. Seth, Satuk. Nobody don't want to be Tahuti. Well, you got some niggas that you want to try to be. You know, and we know about them. We hear you, and you're not it. But you guys, you got nobody don't want to be Ra. Well, you got some niggas. Well, niggas want to be everybody. But still, the point is, niggas get stuck in the darkness, and we don't want that for y'all, man. If you got Jesus, if you have God, if you have Allah, don't sleep on that, okay? Because there's still power in that. And if you hear something that turns you away from I don't want to go to magic, don't go to magic. Because if you hear magic and it scares you, you shouldn't touch it. All right? If you hear Jesus and it gives you power, use that. Only the ones who's supposed to know that will use that. Everybody else going to think you weak. They say, oh, you going up under some Jesus. Let me tell you something. The faith that you have, if you have faith in Jesus, will overpower somebody who think they're giving you the evil eye. But only if you truly have that present. and you also have to know what the works are about. Okay, y'all use sigils too in Christianity. Y'all do voodoo. Y'all don't know that you're doing it, but you're doing it. You use altars. You got a big altar in church. Okay, you have images of different beings and deities. You don't call them orishi. You just call them angels. It's the same shit. You feel what I'm saying? You got different names for them. They got different names for them. You worship this person. They worship this person. You got this ancestor. They got their ancestors. Okay, but again, the only thing is, remember, when it comes to this, it's about the intention and the reception. Intention and reception. So even though you might set an intention to harm somebody, all right, for one, I wouldn't advise you going out to willy-nilly harm anybody, okay, especially if you don't know what you're doing, because the shit can, first of all, come back on you and fuck everything up in your life, especially if you fucking with the wrong one, especially. But for two, it's other shit you don't really want on you. You know what I mean? Because all of that's recorded. Every deed that you do is recorded. You're going to speak about the ancient sciences, African spirituality, whatever you want to speak about, ancient Kemetic sciences, you still have to take into consideration the weighing of the heart ceremony. Okay? Where all this stuff you're doing is still being recorded. And it has to be that you know you were doing it for a righteous cause. All right? So I wouldn't advise you just going out and go willy-nilly trying to make voodoo dolls because you got mad that somebody cheated on you with shit. That ain't justified. That's not justice. That's not ma'at. Are you with me? So to protect yourself, that's another thing. And I can speak on that firsthand. You with me? To bring things to order, that's another thing. I can speak on that firsthand. All right? My first time actively utilizing what's referred to as a voodoo doll, I was 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old, when we had a threat across the street from us. And it only took us a day. It was a joint effort. It took us a day. We had the doll, we buried it, we walked around, we chanted, okay, and we visualized a shovel going up under their house and tossing them across the planet. The next day they had to move. They were packing themselves, leaving some emergency, and they left. We never heard from them again, never saw them. You with me? It's reality. I don't want nobody to believe me though, but it's still reality.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, that's what they were saying. We was talking about that a while back. We was saying that we lost our power because, like, when they killed Mike Brown, if his mama would have got up there and said curse all, if she would have spoken out and said curse everybody that was involved with my son, this and that, they would have felt it. See, and then you was talking about that the other day on the last tape. We would say it depends on the spirit, the card, the rod that they put behind it, right? The energy. When she would have said curse this and that after they did that to her son, instead of getting up there like Rodney King and say, "Oh, can't we all get along?" After they damn near, like Baba say, they beat him for 2 hours. They beat Rodney King. they beat Rodney King for like 2 hours. Hey, but if we get up and says curse be this, curse be that, after they did that, they started backing off us. That's what happened in Hades, man. You know, we don't use our power to speak as wizards. We forgot that we were wizards. Like, people don't like that word, wizard, warlock, all these words. But we forgot that we were beings that can speak things into power, into existence. Don't go into the original language, knowing, like you said, y'all know that language where you can do the chants and shit, and then do all the rituals. Like, I'm gonna tell you for example, because I dealt with it too. When I got into doing occult science, this one lady, she came and she just popped up out of nowhere. And she was a real estate agent, and the guy, she came out of nowhere, didn't tell us nothing, and wanted to put us out of the house in 4 days, just out of nowhere. And they came up with an excuse saying that my son drew a color crayon on the wall. They gonna put us out. So I said, man, this lady right here pissed me off. But I had bad intentions though. That's why it came back on me, right? So what I did is I got her picture off her Facebook page, printed it out. I took it in the backyard. I know that because Tahuti showed me how to do all the shit, but he always told me, I knew I was fucking up right then because my intentions is bad. But he said, don't, if you do a fire spell, be careful because you can't take it back. Because once you burn it, you can't get that back out the etherical realm. So he's like, the easiest spells to do and take back is earth spells, because I can just bury it and then dig it back up if I want to take it back. So what I did is, I want this lady to be shut down. I wanted her business to stop, her real estate business. So I got a picture of her, dig a hole 3 feet deep, and then I put a picture down and put a brick on top of it, and then I covered it back up. Like for a while, it was working. I was monitoring her Facebook and seeing that. So she's like, oh, I wonder why this did happen. Yo, I was kind of like, yeah, this bitch don't know. Oh, she messing with a high power alchemist, right? But then some kind of way, what was happening to me, it was still happening. It didn't stop. What I should have did alchemy not on her. I should have did on to prevent what was happening to me. See, it's like you got to be direct, you got to be specific when you're doing that type of alchemy too. So I went specific. So as long as I had the brick on her face, it was on me. As long as the brick was on her, it was on me. So I was being held back at the same time that I'm holding her back. So then I feel like damn, this shit the brick is on me too when I put it on her. So as soon as I went and took the brick back up, it seemed like everything went back to normal. And so now to who he told me, he came to me, he said, yeah, that's what you learned the lesson there. That whatever you do, it's to you too. It's the same to you. That's a part of this. That's a rule to this game. Now, if you got good intentions, though, it don't work like that. But if you got bad intentions, that's one of the rules to you having bad intentions going into the alchemy. You got it. Whatever you do, especially if you one of us, it'll happen to your ass right then. As soon as you do it, it's on you. Like some people that ain't high power alchemists, they might have a delay on. But to niggas like us that know what it is, it'll happen to you as soon as you do it. So I didn't know I had the fucking brick on me when I did to her. I learned after that. Okay, all right. So now I can't just do this shit. I gotta do stuff like you doing. You going at the industry. You going at people that's bad. Yo, your intentions is good though. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it ain't no mirror effect to that alchemy. It's more a direct weapon. You know what I'm saying? It's like a weapon or defense type of thing. But like I say, most of them into the defense now. I ain't into attacking nobody. I learned my lesson from that. I ain't into attacking nobody. I'm into defending myself. When motherfuckers attack me or say spit, I can tell. Like one day I was riding. I'm gonna let you get back in. I'm sorry for going in too long. One day, because I watched Mother Nature. Mother Nature will tell you if somebody working alchemy against you, especially the birds, because the birds are spiritual beings, right? So one day, how I found out that somebody was working alchemy on me. Somebody, I ain't gonna say no names on these people, but it was a group of people who's working alchemy on me because they disagree with what I was talking about. And when I was driving one day to go to the store, a crow flew by and took a shit on my window while I was driving in the middle of driving. So I said, okay, that's a sign. Somebody's trying to put dirt on my name, shit on me, because and they doing it while like I'm in motion. So I'm thinking, okay, like, who is these people? So what I do, I set up mirrors. I know how to set up mirrors. To Hootie showed me how to set up these 7 mirrors in the house to where if whatever's coming out to me, it just reflect and go back to whoever's sunning. So it's a lot of stuff involved with it. I know you know all this too, because you probably get taught like I do. I get taught through the mind mill, like just through meditation and through just going into a higher dimension and being. You made a good point, because Baba too is 2 tapes I'm gonna put out. Well, one of them I already got out about the Baba say all these pictures real. So he gave us the pictures of the holy tablets so that we could contact so that we could contact all of our ancestors. That's why he gave us those pictures, right? You went into that on the images, right? And also you got a tape called "The Life Is in the Blood." I'm about to find that tape. "The Life Is in the Blood." I remember I said something about the life is in the blood. So, yeah, but all right, this is the last question I got for you because we got about 12 minutes. But I didn't want to go too long on that. I just wanted to tell you my experience. A lot of the stuff, I'm from Louisiana, man. I done seen a lot of voodoo. I seen it. It worked, like you say, it worked if the people agree to it. It's like it's conjuring. It's called conjuring or contracts. So in order for it to work on the other person, they got to make an agreement in the minds, just like you go to court. It's got to be an agreement of the mind. So for it to work on a person, they got to agree to it, and they agree to it by being in fear of thinking that it's gonna work, that it works. That, like you said, that you already lost then. But this is a question because somebody had this question. How do you defend? Can you go in a little bit more detail? How do you defend yourself from these type of beings or these spiritual principalities or whatever this energy is that might come up against? Like you said about laughing. I know Tahuti taught us that. That's the first thing he taught us. He always laughed. Tahuti always laughed at motherfuckers, man. Like Tahuti will crack jokes on you and everything. You know what I'm saying? He got a high level of sense of humor. So, but how do you what's other methods that they can use to defend themselves to somebody that's casting spells on them or speaking curses on people? You know what I'm saying? What you got any things on that?
Take whatever resonates with you. First, you ever seen that meme where it say, fight back, nigga, fight back. Fight back. Somebody fighting you, what you gonna do? Stand there? Same thing like if the rules of engagement are motherfuckers put their hands on you, beat their ass. That's the rules of engagement. Okay? That's for some people. Some people, depending on whatever your degree is, like a black belt, we will feel sorry for you even trying. We'll feel sorry for you because I'm going to tell you, when I be telling people I'm throwed off for real, they needed me on the good side. They needed me to be on what they call the good side because I don't think eye for an eye. You know what I mean? I think that means you don't want your nose, you don't want your tongue, you don't want your eye, you don't want your ears. If you can't take an eye, you just must not need your rest of your limbs or none of that. You just didn't want it, so you kind of just signed up to lose every motherfucking thing. I don't think that if a motherfucker murders somebody and I'm supposed to come and get retribution or give retribution or get revenge, that I'm supposed to murder one of theirs. No, we're going to take about 10 of yours. We got a basement or a dungeon. You're going to be tortured to the end of time. That's what we want you to remember every day what you did. It ain't enough to kill you. You understand? Now, again, that's just speaking hypothetically. Prayer. Don't forget that your parents passing down God to you is very important. Okay, if they passed on, if your grandmother was a prayer warrior, all right, if you have a prayer warrior who's a grandfather or a mother or a father, call on the name of Jesus. And don't just call on it just to call on it because through the law of assumption, if not anything else, you already know I'm protected. Or you say, I rebuke that. You understand? Or if you're a Muslim, you can say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Okay, or I seek refuge in Allah Ta'ala from shaitan. Protect me from this devil. Okay? If you're a Christian, you could call the command, get thee behind me, shaitan. You're not above me, whoever the demon is. All right? So you got the rebuking, you got the calling on Allah Ta'ala or the source to protect you, or Yahayu, or the living self, to kill all the dead energy and liberate you. All right? You can learn sigils, like the Pinnacle. All right? Or you can do circle magic, which you get a actual papyrus. Some of y'all, if you don't know what papyrus is, you can go to your nearest grocery store, get some brown paper bags. All right, go out and get a blue pen or a red pen, depending on what level you think you're ready for. And if you think somebody doing work on you, draw yourself in a circle. All right, and remember that this circle is to help you be protected. And once you draw it, you've already set the intention. Once you put that pen to that papyrus, it's law. If you don't know that, then don't play with this. You need help. If you don't know that it's law, then you may need help. That's when you call on other spirits or forces that exist to help you, like Jesus. Now, not everybody has to call on Jesus. Michael don't got to call on Jesus. Matter of fact, Jesus called on Michael. Jesus called Michael to do his dirty work. Jesus got legions on speed dial that he can call. You understand? So some people need to call on them. Don't belittle somebody for calling on Jesus because you may not know what it is. But there's something about the name Jesus. Let me tell you something real quickly before we get up out of here. Around the time when I came back from touring with the Brother Montana 300, right? Both of us got sick. They said it was the Crown syndrome, right? Both of us got sick. I know why I got sick. This was my first time catching a plane. I was not drinking water. I was performing for 2 weeks in a row. All right. I'm dehydrated. I'm out in the cold. I've never been in these environments. And by like the last day before I had to leave to come back to Atlanta, I started to feel the chills and I got sick. I got to my house. I was completely torn down. It was late in the nighttime. I'm in my room. My mother's office was next to my room. I open the door. I can't even get up. I'm crawling on the floor. I see a Coke bottle sitting on top of her desk. I can't even reach up to get it. So I used my energy to crawl to my mother's room. I had two or one of my siblings walking around. I can't really remember which one it was, right? And they were in the kitchen doing whatever they was doing. I'm trying to speak to them, say, I need help. All right. I'm knocking on my mother's door. She ain't giving it because one of the children was annoying her. So she stepped right over me. Nobody knew what was happening to me. I felt myself leaving. I said, whatever it is, I've never had a flu shot, none of that. I've never been immunized in my life. You understand? So whatever it was, I'm like, this, I have never been exposed to it. It turned out to be pneumonia, but I never had it because I had never put that much strain on my body and shifted atmospheres and got up in planes and all of that. I never did that before. So I said, something is wrong. And because I realized, I even asked that sibling if they could just bring me a heap of clothes, because there was some clothes in my travel bag. I asked them with my last energy of my words if they could just bring me them clothes so I could prop up my head. You understand? So that I wasn't just laying flat on the carpet. And they wouldn't even do it for me. They had an attitude. I'm telling you, in a split second, and I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim. I can be a Christian, I can be a Muslim, I can be a Buddhist. Catch me on a good day, I can take on any form. I'm neither one of those though, meaning I'm not stuck to one side of anything. All of y'all talking about the same thing anyway. I literally came in contact with whatever that spirit is called Jesus, called Yeshua. And I allowed that being to grab me, pick me up. My mother being my witness. I went from being immobile, can't move, can't speak, I'm shivering. And then Yeshua, this spirit of green light, picked me up. And I decided in that moment that I was not sick. Somebody came through to do that for me. And when they did it, I decided I was no longer sick. Now, if I could explain every bit of the science to you, I could. I don't know all of that science. All I can say is there's still something about the name Jesus, and I've experienced it. So if it's something for you, I'm not the person who could tell you that pleading the blood of Jesus don't work, because my brother was injured to the point of being immobile, and I thought he wasn't going to make it. My father literally told me to go into a dark place and stand in the mirror and say, I plead the blood of Jesus. I walked outside of that room. My brother was sitting up laughing. I rode behind the ambulance with my brother. It was a whole treacherous situation that took place. Nervous that he wouldn't make it. And he made it. Okay? So again, I'm not a Christian. However, for all the people who tell you Jesus doesn't work, they don't know what they're talking about. All right? So if Jesus works, it works. But it can only work if it works. And you're the only one who will know. All right? And for all the rest of you, have your amethyst. You can wear amethyst. It has a protective resonance. Make sure that you're not just wearing the amethyst. You have to charge it. Okay? So you go and get amethyst crystal. You can put it in the sun. Sit it in your windowsill. Let it charge all day in the sunlight, or put it out on your porch. Let it charge. Through the science of something called photoconductivity, all right, the energy yields from the sun are going to set into that crystal or that stone. It's important for you to know that there's a science to that, because that means that that crystal at that point has a magnetic field that would have been charged, and it will become more integral. And when you place it on your body, it will interact with your magnetic field and have a positive influence on your, what's referred to as your human atmosphere. And you will have the clarity of mind to be protected, for one, and there will be a protective aura around you. That's why amethyst stone is used to protect. You with me? You can get saltpeter and dump it out around your home. Or you can take a block of chalk. If you stay in an apartment, whatever, you can draw a line of chalk around your home, a circle. Okay? Or you can get some pebbles and you build a circle or sprinkle a circle around your home. Or you can just get salt if you don't have saltpeter, and take that and sprinkle it around your home. A circle. And say, this fort is protected. This fort is protected. This fort is protected. No harm will come to my tent. No harm will come to my tent. Read the book of Psalms. All right? No harm will come to my tent. You can chant the name Yeshua. All right? You can chant Hotep to say peace. You can chant Aletheia to say peace, and say that you're at that point literally yielding an abode of peace. Nothing will interrupt that. There's a million ways. We'll be here for 40 more minutes. It's just use whatever. If you want to take a rock and put it in the middle of your floor and say, because I did this, nothing's going to happen, all right, then you do that. You get white candles and you light them up and you put them on your counter, all right, white candles. And if you light that candle and somebody comes in your house and blows it out, I'm telling you, get away from them. If anybody walks in and blows out your white candle, get away from them, okay? If you're ready to fight, go get a red candle and go get something called Mars oil, all right? And you put Mars oil around that candle, light the wick, and let the work be done. Fight back. Don't be afraid. That's why they don't want y'all to be armed. They don't want you to be armed because the more afraid you are, the more susceptible to these attacks you are, all right, the more these demons can stay in power. Fuck them demons. They ain't got no power unless you give it to them. Are you with me? So if you're speaking about spiritual warfare, fight back. And if you don't want to fight back and you want to let the Lord fight your battles, right? When they say vengeance is mine, say the Lord, well, you better know what you're talking about, because I'm gonna tell you right now, there are some beings who don't even give a fuck about that. And if you need help, you got to go for help. But if you find yourself backed up in the corner and you don't call on these names and you still experiencing this, that, and the third, well, then you need to do this, that, and the third. And you need to fight back. Okay? If you're going through something and you think that it's a test of Job, you better check in and make sure that it is. Because sometimes somebody's literally doing work in your life and you think that you're going through the test of Job because you're supposed to. No, you need to fight back. You need to be able to do a reversal. Whatever you think is being done to you from whatever angle, if you're losing finances, go get you a green candle. All right? Get you some Wealthy Way oil or get you some roll opener oil. All right? Pour it around the candle or pour it in the candle, light the wick, and let the work be done. I'm giving you the science. Let the work be done. It is done. So mote it be. Are you with me? And if you got people around you, when you light up that Wealthy Way candle, anybody that comes to you and asks you for money while that candle is burning, don't take it from me. Get away from them. Because it's either them that's doing it or they're being used to do it. All right? You got some people that your relationship is suffering. You can go get you a pink candle. You can get you a purple candle. You can do a reversal. If you don't know how to do a reversal, we don't got time. Just take a blue pen or a pink pen or a purple pen. These are higher vibratory colors. A blue, purple, or pink pen and write the word reversal on any piece of paper. It could be papyrus or a piece of lined paper, construction paper. Write reversal, put it up under that candle. Like that pink candle, like that blue candle, like that white candle, like that purple candle. Okay, all of these are candles for the secondary colors or the love colors. Okay, light it, and if anybody come in and blow it up, they jealous of your relationship. If they blow it out, they jealous of your relationship. They're the ones who are putting out ill will. All right, or if anybody call you during that time that candle is burning, and they ask you about your relationship, hang up. They one of the ones. Either they're doing it, or they're being used as people who can do it to you. My point, I'm going to land all that. My point of saying all of this, these are real works. And if you take these works, you can take these works. However, don't underestimate your ability to put out your own alchemy. Okay? You can make a color represent something that is never represented. Just know what you're doing. Because you have to have a different type of intent to take something that's already vibrating a certain way and flip it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but if you want to do your own thing, do your own thing. Just remember, it's about intent and reception. And if somebody has ill will for you, you can reverse that. You can pray for them. That's a whole different type of science. Pray for them, all right, for even touching one of God's children. You ever heard somebody say that? Say, you touch me, I'm nervous about what's going to happen to you because I'm one of God's children. Okay, well then pray for them. Pray for their soul, because you're having a different conversation at that time of what they're going to have to inherit for what they did to you. Are you with me? But just remember, you are never helpless. You are never helpless. You have help through different beings, different channels. You know what I mean? You can let Ogun come fight for you. Are you with me? You can let Oshun come fight for you. If you're an Ifa, you can call on the waters of Oya to go and flood them out. All right? Whatever it is, you get the thunder, whatever. Okay? Use whatever is at your expense, okay, to use. And then at that point, remember your own power. Your own power is you always have the ability to reject whatever reality or accept whatever reality. Remember that. You can either reject or accept any reality. So somebody says, I'm going to put a hex on you. Laugh at them first. And then don't be afraid to say it's on. Say it's on. You know what I mean? You need help? Reach out to me. I can see you some type of way. I see every message. You need help? Shit, I'll tell you how to knock them upside the head. You know what I mean? But again, it's on you. If you're doing something and you know that you're not doing it in the order, it's going to be on you. It's not on me. Because only you know whether or not you're doing something out of righteousness or to really protect yourself. But I'll show you how to crack these folks. I'll probably do a book on it. Spiritual warfare ain't shit to master if you can remember the mind. And remember your intention being set. That's why I told you the difference between somebody saying, man, nigga, fuck you. And they said, nigga, fuck you. One is a curse, one isn't. Remember the intention, master that. You can either accept or reject. Simple as that. This is something they didn't want to hide from people too. They want to hide this from people. But you can do the same works.
You said some good that like everyone you do, Faise. We got to come back again. What's the day? Come back on another day. It's your free Friday or something. Faise, you got so much information, man, on this shit. It's like you saying shit that I know, but you making it, you going into so much. You making it so clear, my nigga. Like you making it real easy. You making it easy. You saying it's like you confirming all the shit that I know. You making me feel better about the shit that I was thinking in my head. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. About how to fight this shit. So we're at the 2-hour mark. Hey y'all, man, show Faise some love on the Cash App. If y'all want to get the books, like I say, if you want to get the 10, he got them for y'all just coming in. We got 400 people, some maybe more than that. But if y'all want to get the books, he got 10 books out right now, y'all. All you gotta do is send them a Cash App, leave your emails in the links. Also, if you just want to get the books, you want to show them some love for the class tonight, we got the Cash App on the screen. Also, if you want to go and subscribe to his YouTube page, we got that in the descriptions. Also, you can check out his new songs he got. Dragon is one of my favorites. Sauce is the hottest one. Dragon is, I don't know, they're like all of them hot, really. You know what I'm saying? I can't really say which one is hot, but that Sauce, I just like it because it's hard. That Dragon, I like it just because it's new and it's going at these clown niggas. So it's like, you know, it's all love, right? So yeah, we got all that in the descriptions. If you want to Instagram, if you ain't on his Instagram, get on the Instagram. We got that in the links. We got the YouTube, and we got the new music, and we got the Cash App in the link. So yeah, man, we'll be back, y'all. We're gonna come out with another one because these we knocking these occult classes out. It's never haven't been made so clear like this. I'm telling you, man. I know Baba proud right now, man, because it's like you like Baba on steroids, man. And then you just 25, man. You got a long way to go, man. I don't imagine what the hell you gonna be at by the time you get my age. You got about 13 more years, man. You gonna be invisible. You gonna be ascended already by then. You already in a whole nother mode, man. So by the time you turn 10 more years from now, woo, what? You probably ain't gonna be able to deal with humans no more. I'm telling you, you ain't gonna be able to deal with humans. You gonna be your brain is gonna be. I'm telling you, man. Woo! Now I know you're using more than 10% of your brain right now. So I don't imagine how much of percentage you're gonna be using by then. Yeah, hey, we out, man. We out. Hey, we want to send love to all of y'all.
Remember, you got anything you want to stay strapped up, stay prayed up, stay strapped up. Ain't nothing to worry about. For those of you who got your hands in darkness, it ain't nothing to take your hands out, repent, change your mind, clear it up. And if you hear my voice, you already know you were supposed to hear it. I don't care what order you came from. If you hear my voice, you were supposed to hear it. We asking that even you Amberlight people deny yourself, all right, and help the Emerald Light because you know it's the right thing to do. When we won't hold anything that you've done in the past over your head. We won't hold you accountable for it, all right? We just ask that you deny Shaitan, that you deny the dark orders, and you step forth and help us. Everybody go get their green light, okay? It's not over. The green light movement is still alive and well. It should be lit up all through the shadow hour, okay? And we're looking for you, and we're going to be looking out to see where you at. All right, I love y'all.
Hey, we love y'all. You know what I'm saying? Assalamu alaikum, shalom alaikum, hotel, right? I should divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu.